right now. What are you eating, Tony?
This is flan.
It's
But cheap
flan.
flan. Yeah.
Now, did you fly to Cerritos in Southern California to get that flan?
I would love to.
They
Yeah,
No, I
open
did not. I did
it. Yeah,
not.
that's how much pull Tony has.
they went. Wait, what's the name of the place?
Amori tacos.
Mori Tacos flew over and made homemade flan for Tony.
John and I.
You know, stop for a second. Steve has a good idea, Tony. We should find some contactless way to deliver flan to people.
I like
Fluber.
that. I like
A
that.
fluber.
Wait.
You know, on my birthday, instead of a cake, like we go to
Flan.
Newport, Rhode Island. It's like I want flan.
You could do like an Uber Eats, like Fluber, Flift. Wait, what's
That sounds kind of gross.
Postmates?
You know, next month we're gonna see that on Urban Dictionary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Flift. That sounds really weird.
I won't even bother to tell you what the flipped act is, but
Right.
The Flift Act of 2020. Well, look, there's crazy.
remember, kids see this. Kids see this.
Yeah, but there's crazier shit. It's flipped. It's flan delivery.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Sure, that's
What
one way
it
to look
is.
at it.
Yeah, you stick to that.
It's
Steve.
flan custom delivery.
So we had the guys from Mike Lull Custom Guitar Works on today.
Holy,
Did.
what incredible people, man. This is episode 13, guys.
Episode 13. We're officially awkward teenagers.
And let's talk about our sponsors as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about first, since we have this so thought out?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, you can tell that we're really prepared,
We'll do
right?
this. Hey,
Normally we take 5 minutes prior to like, okay, this is how we're going to script this opening part. And today Steve's just like, I'm going to hit record.
you
Here
know
go.
why? Because you were eating flan, Tony, and I wanted to capture that.
So Tony's flan ruined it. Tony's flan is why we can't have nice things.
First, it was me hitting the end button for the whole thing. Now it's the flan. Well, I do have an idea. How about Tony? Since you are a Lull artist and you are you're family to the Lulls and that whole crew. How about you do a little introduction, buddy? There you go.
Mike Lull to Lombard. So yeah, they're guys from Guitar Works is what they're formerly known as. Mike Lull
Okay.
Custom Guitars.
Okay.
Bellevue, Washington. MikeLull.com. Some of the finest instruments on the planet. Really. I mean,
I will dare say, too, in a world right now where everyone and their mother is making a P or J bass, Mike Lull has stood out for decades
Long time. Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
You can get a high-end super P or super J bass from anybody, or you can get a Mike Lull
Yeah.
P bass or J bass.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize how long
I didn't either.
Holy jeez.
I mean, I'm an artist, and I didn't know it was
92. 92, right?
92. We went
92 is when he
formal.
started building instruments, but 76 is when he started the whole thing.
So he's literally, like we were talking, has been every iteration of this musical instrument. the what is it? The innovations he's seen.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow.
He was so free and giving with his information. I mean, he's been so good to me. So good to me. You know, we've had some late night phone calls, and
Yeah.
he's not even a late night guy. He's a morning guy. You know, we just talk about this and this and what I'm looking for, and he's like, I can get you this sound by doing this and blah 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 blah.
Wow.
So
He was a nerd. I love it.
he was a nerd.
Totally.
Yeah.
He was a nerd.
We love nerds. It's good. Well, and it's one of those things where you meet the Mike Lulls, the Kerry Nordstrands, and Pat Wilkins, and whatever it is. It's almost that chef. He can give you here. I'll show you how to do it. Here's the recipe, but you're never going to do it like me because that's me.
He just talked about the ingredients of what I use.
Yeah. Here's
Doing the finishes of my Mike Lull basses with Kerry Nordstrom pickups.
Yeah. Yeah, which is fantastic. I mean, you kidding
Mhm.
me? Those guys know their shit, you know, and those guys are the masters, and they're just incredible. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And it was great to. So Tom, and is Tom Albert, I
Tom
believe,
Albert,
right? He's
Spencer Lull.
Spencer
Yep.
Lull, Tom Albert, or yeah, and Tom's been there since the beginning too. So
20
92.
years. Wow,
Yeah.
20 years.
yeah, and Spencer's so awesome. What a good dude, man.
I remember Spencer from NAM and,
Yeah.
and hanging out. And I remember having to walk out instruments for him because I had the exhibitor badge and he didn't. You know,
Mm.
Oh man.
yeah, good kid.
Yeah, that's a good crew, man. They're making some good shit. And okay, so and then you announced that you have the TP5, Tony Puleo 5. Now you have the TP-PJ 5. So two
Correct.
signature instruments.
I have two signature instruments that are different from each other that
Nice.
Don't
I
give too
can't.
much away. This is just the intro.
Is this
Oh, yeah, oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Watch
anyways,
the rest of the episode. Sorry.
That's
We're
right.
really professional folks, aren't we?
We're just going to watch the readership on this episode go after the first 5 minutes just tank because everyone's like, I already know what the TPPJ is.
I know. Well, they don't. They don't know.
No.
Maybe they do.
I'll just say this one last little snippet. I can't imagine a tonal spectrum that these two instruments combined can't
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Those two will probably cover every single gig you'd ever need.
That's awesome.
And I do a wide variety.
Yeah.
Studio work that will cover whatever, to modern theater, to jazz fusion, and everything in between, and heavy rock even. So I pretty much got it all, and
Nice.
between what I have, yeah.
Yeah.
But check out the episode, folks. Let's talk about our sponsors.
Listen to
Yeah.
what? All right. Who do we start with?
Hey Designs Audio.
A Designs.
Redesigns audio.
There's the Ready.
Look at that pretty red box.
Thing gets used almost every day. The
Nice.
Ventura gets used
Sure.
quite a bit. I got the well, there we go. The KGB, but yeah, the Ready is the bomb. A Designs. Oh, there you go, little KGB. So adesignsaudio.com. Pete Montesi. He's another one of the greats, the legends. Awesome.
He's fantastic.
One of the most beautiful, rad people ever, and has been such a incredible support for the bass community. Which
The best outboard studio gear I've ever used in my life is A Designs Audio.
yeah.
and
There's
that's-
one reason the Ready is in.
that.
Yeah, there's one reason that the Ready is in almost every studio and in every studio musician's hands because it's fantastic. Sounds killer all the time, anytime.
Hands
Yeah.
down.
And we had Reggie Hamilton on the 12th episode, and he had the Ready Black, which
Right.
limited edition. So go to adesignsaudio.com to check that out. Ready Red and Ready Black. Woo!
Ooh.
I want one of those blacks. I do.
Ooh.
I'm curious.
Yeah. Yeah, to have one side by side.
Mhm.
Oh.
I'm tempted. It doesn't take much to get me going.
No.
Yes, I do.
Well, Tony, if you get one, you're going to have to order another one.
Don't even. That's a side conversation. all
Yeah,
right?
well, I have two Readies. I've got two. I've got one up here and one that's in a road case, ready to go. I got two.
I gotta have this bike ride for a little bit. I already know my next bike.
You're getting two.
Yeah.
That sounds like Tony.
Yeah.
That's all right. I love it.
Okay. Oh, and our next sponsor, John.
Oh, we have Golden State Coffee Roasters out of California. Ross is one heck of a guy, killer bass player as well, makes a mean cup of coffee, and is also very generous with his time and things. I contacted him the other day because I went through the Kabingo blend or kind that I had
I love
and
that.
asked where to go next. And so now I am at the Harsu.
Okay. Nice.
So I just had the first cup of it this morning. I'm gonna, it's word's still out because I like to try to grab a couple
Sure.
pots of it first. But I mean, all their stuff's good.
How are you making it, John?
Oh, well,
Mm.
I have a Technivorm Mocha Master coffee maker.
Woo!
Oh,
That sounds high
Really?
tech.
yeah. I'm making it better than all of you.
I do the you do I do the pour over, which is pretty good.
Yep. And it's kind of like the same thing. It's a full immersion
Okay.
kind of deal. I've also been doing it lately cold brew,
Oh,
making my own
Now
cold,
that is good. I
and
want to try
that definitely really opens up all the flavor notes
so
that are listed on the label.
nice.
I've been
for it.
going French press, traditional French
Yeah.
press.
Can't go
I've
wrong.
been kind of cheating and doing the cold brew through the French press because it's the same thing, except use cold water then steep for about 18 hours
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of 5 minutes. So
Yeah, Golden State. So Golden State Coffee Roasters, they're
And you
in.
can get, tumblers and so forth and everything
yep.
from them.
I love
And
this.
let's see, it's goldenstate.coffee
Correct. That's their website.
and still running. Big Bottom 15 gets you a discount at checkout.
Yep.
Big
And
bottom,
you can
1.5.
Or in the store,
Yep.
which Steve has done.
Yeah, their store is rad. It's downtown Placentia. It's a great space, and actually, if this whole crazy COVID NAM thing goes into next year around NAM time, they're might do something at Golden State Coffee Roasters because their
Fun.
space, it's incredible. It's big, and there's a lot of area to have hangs and different things. So could be a thing. Yeah, so use the promo code there and online. But we might be doing something with them coming up.
I love it.
Sweet.
Yeah, which will be rad. Yeah, man. So yeah, A Designs and Golden State Coffee Roasters. How else are you? How are you boys doing? The whole thing. You guys doing all right with COVID?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
making the best of it.
still
Yeah,
chugging along, man.
nice.
Getting a couple of gigs booked actually in August. I'm
I actually have
super
my
excited.
first. I have my first trial run at the church I played at this Saturday to try
Nice,
to go
John.
over their new format. We're going to try to do the outdoor kind of like drive-in
Sure.
kind of service for a couple months before they're already looking at how to do everything for indoors as well. But
Yeah. We've been playing outdoors, playing one service, they record it, and then they rerun it a couple of times. But it's been working
Nice.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's working.
Rhode Island's doing something weird. The state below me,
Mhm.
they're opening up certain clubs and they're doing something kind of different, whether you want to mock it or not. They have chains with plastic shields coming down
okay,
Interesting.
drove in front of the stage, in front of the monitors where people would be.
Sure.
It's like,
Huh.
but you know what? It's better than nothing. We'll
Yeah.
take it,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
We'll take it.
Got to take precautions at the same time and still try to open up. So
Want
I
to be
get it.
safe. Everyone wants to be safe.
Yes.
Big Bottom wants everybody safe.
Hell yeah, man. Healthy,
absolutely.
live.
Massachusetts
coffee.
numbers are gone down a
Cool.
whoa lot.
I think Michigan's is still ticking upwards, but I believe hospitalizations and deaths are down.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's really
Yeah.
better.
It seems like everywhere the severity of it is hopefully going down. So
Yeah.
How about California, Steve?
I think kind of the same. I think there's still numbers, but the severity, let me get myself in focus again. I think the severity has gone down. So we're, still taking precautions, do the mask thing when you're out and just, be cool.
Be smart,
be
be
smart.
be safe.
Be
Yeah,
safe.
That's the main thing. And I know, and John, did you get the amp?
Well, it is at the office.
Ah,
So
nice.
I will have it tomorrow. But yes,
Tell us what you got. What did the
well, if our loyal listeners have been paying attention to one of our earlier podcasts with Lee, Jim, and Holly from Bergantino,
love that? Yeah.
they have graciously sent me over one of their B amps to run through a little bit and put through its paces, give some thoughts on, write a review, all that kind of stuff. So I am incredibly excited to jump into that tomorrow.
Awesome.
Can't wait. go Bergantino. Just Bergantino.com. I think it's Bergantino amps, whatever. But they're awesome people, and
I think people can find them on the web
they
quite
can find them.
easy.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
won't be
Yeah,
hard.
yeah. But they're fantastic, and yeah, I can't wait to hear the feedback, and especially now that we're able to, you're able to gig and get it out there.
Oh yeah, it's getting used on Saturday.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think for you,
now is what cabinets do I pair it with?
Hmm.
That's the bigger question.
Are you actually going to have cabinets or just in-ears, or you're going to have?
I think I'll probably have a small one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pair it with my Schroeder 2.6.
I like it. Oh, I like sixes. I like sixes.
Mm-hmm.
Sixes
That's
are
interesting. Sixes.
dude. Okay, Tony. Sixes are surprisingly fucking punchy.
Well, I mean, I used,
Yeah.
PJB 5-inch Piranha speakers for years.
Yeah.
And God, I love those.
They're a weird, like, people go sixes. What? No, they're
You look at it, you're like, there's no way that thing's going to be loud or sound good. Then when you play like one or two notes, you're like, okay.
yeah.
How are 2.6s compared to like a 110?
I would say it probably moves about the same air,
Yeah.
but it's got a little bit more punch and clarity to it.
And depending on the drivers, they're actually heavy magnets. They're
Can
actually
they go as
out.
deep? I mean, obviously, it has a lot to do with the cabinet tuning.
Yeah, it goes
Yeah.
fairly deep. I mean, Jord does crazy stuff with his cabinet design. So
They're Orange made 4.6 cabinets, and they're discontinued. It's either Orange or Ashdown. Sorry, one of those two. You can.
I think it
Google
was Ashdown.
I think it's Ashdown, and the cabinet itself is small, but weighs. It's girthy.
Weighs a ton.
Weighs a ton and has more bottom than almost like a 115, but that because they're 4.6s, they're so fast. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, blew me away. My buddy Chris Book, bass player, has two of those, and he brought them over, and I was in disbelief, and I was like, "Holy hell, man!" Seriously.
Ceramic, I'm imagining they must
Oh
be.
yeah,
ceramic.
dude. The cabinets are heavy, and there are four of them, and they are just. I mean, if I ever see one, I really want to nab one of those cabs because they're badass, dude.
I would imagine your
Yes.
the 2.6s have to be ceramic as well, right?
Probably.
Yeah, Fatal drivers, like heavy, stout, like good shit, man. Yeah.
How do you pronounce that? I thought it was Fatal.
Oh,
But
Fatal or Fatal, I don't know.
And then he does that like Rhino road covering
Yes.
on it. So I mean, you could throw the thing off a building and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
tomato, Steve.
Tomato, Fatal, Fatal. I like the sound highbrow.
John's just shaking his head. At least he's looking away now. He's like, you guys.
You're sitting there like this, Fatal.
Fatal. Well, I saw that. So we had Ray Rondeau on the podcast, and
Yep.
we say Rondeau, but somebody on the comments was like, it's pronounced Rondeau, and it's like, yeah, it's French, but hey, Rondeau. That's
Do
whatever.
you know how many ways my last name is?
Oh, dude, I say it different all the time. Puleo.
Julio,
Julio.
so Paleo.
I think Steve's favorite is Paleo.
Paleo. And that we got to give a shout out. Our boy Brad, that was his nickname. Love that guy. Tony Paleo, dubbed you. Yes, that's.
I miss Brad. I miss that big beat of a man.
Man, he's up there. He's loving this, guys. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to mention, I know we're doing the podcast wrap up and people are listening to our bullshit, but John's caricature of Tony is very apropos to the way that Tony. Everybody's going to be able to see this. It's a very apropos caricature of Tony's personality.
Very much so.
I love it. Tony Paleo.
We won't even say a word. We'll just show it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, okay. Hey, fucking A. We have a web page.
Oh, we have
Facebook
a page now. That's right.
BigBottomPodcast.com.
Sweet.
Yes. So we are going to be putting all of our one place where you can find all our shit, all our stuff. BigBottomPodcast.com. And then we also have a Facebook page. Big Bottom Podcast. So, all y'all people out there that want to find out where you can find all our stuff in one easy location, bigbottompodcast.com and the Big Bottom Facebook page.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's an FYI.
Yeah,
Because it's on YouTube, it's all over there, but now we're going to have a centralized location. And we'll have, as time progresses, we'll have stuff and things on it and socials and all that bullshit. So,
I love socials.
socials are good. Yeah, Big Bottom
It
Podcast.
tastes like,
Especially when they have ice cream.
It tastes like flan.
Yes, for Tony Paleo. Is flan paleo? I would say yes.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, there's no way.
It is. It's totally paleo. Come on. Wait, why am I? Wait, there we go. All right, boys. Well, I'm glad you guys are, everybody's healthy and doing well. This was a fun podcast. That was good.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
I like it.
Love those guys. So, all right. Love you guys. Big Bottom Podcast. Steve Arajo.
John Moody.
Tony Paleo.
We're out. All right. I'm going to stop the recording. We're going to bullshit some more. We'll see you
All
guys.
right.
Peace out, public. Recording is underway.
Yep, Tony's got his sunglasses where they should be, so we're good.
Man, all right, Tony. Hey, why don't you welcome them, Tony?
Let's welcome the guys from Mike Lull, Custom Guitars, and Guitar Works.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Spencer and Tom. Guys, introduce yourselves. Well, let's talk about the brand. We have not talked about the brand. So,
Yeah. So, Spencer. This is Spencer. I mean, we're here. We're operating. We're rolling, and especially after all of the crazy stuff that's gone on this year, we're just honestly happy to keep going and making stuff, and lots to do. So yeah, it's going good.
And for the people that don't know, where in the country are you guys?
So we're in Bellevue, Washington,
Washington
which
State.
is like just about 10 miles east of Seattle.
A good swim from Seattle.
Yeah.
Got it. And what's the weather like right now there?
Horrific. Yeah.
Really?
Not so great. They clouded.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But usually we'll get a semblance of summer during the summertime, which is good. But
Got it.
right now it's
Summer was on a Tuesday this year.
yeah.
Seattle joke.
how's the business been right now? Like, what state is the shop at right now?
I mean, yeah, it's actually going good. I mean, when we open back up, we have a lot of orders for custom instruments, and
Cool.
it's been something that, I mean, we're all really thankful that people want to keep having us build stuff for them, and we've been just completing orders left and right, and just kind of taking more orders as well, and
Cool.
it's an exciting thing. So we're happy about it. And obviously, when you get a shutdown, there's other hurdles that you have to overcome and whatnot. But we're doing it. So we're happy.
Yeah, we're back up to full staff. All the guys are in the shop now. We've got more repair work than we can kind of wrap our hands around, and so we're busy. We're busy. We're working hard. We've got 4 full-time luthiers, and they're just cranking it out.
So let's talk a little bit about the history of the business, if we can. Spencer, Tom, feel free. Like, as you just, when year did your dad start the shop, Spence?
Yeah, I mean, 76 was the first year. I actually have the first receipt for like $1.02 for like a miscellaneous part for something, and yeah, it's hanging up on the wall right in the entrance. So first year, and he kind of started making instruments, just not really under a specific, brand name, but kind of just put his decal on it, like Mike Lull, really until early 90s, kind of like
early mid 90s,
Yeah.
when we actually started turning what Mike was doing as a service to a lot of our repair customers. So we're a full-on repair shop. We do every type of repair, from vintage acoustic guitar rebuilds, neck resets, and everything. just to setups on new Squires, and just we're very, very busy repair shop and always have been. And Mike was doing work for a lot of the music industry guys in the 70s here. His friends, Mike was on the music scene and just playing, gigging around with his bands. And so a lot of his friends would just kind of come in to figure out why his bass was played so well. And so he started charging them for it. And that's really that was the seeds. That's how he decided he could make a living at it, because you can only make so much money as a musician unless the stars align. He was really good with his hands and loved doing it, loved doing work for his friends. And when he hired me on in 1992, he'd been at it for a while, about 13 years.
Whoa,
And
Tom, you've been in Night since 92.
1992, yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
long
to say
time.
you've got enough experience doing this is an understatement, you know.
I have a little bit of experience. Yeah, I've been chained to the bench for a long time.
Well, it sounds like early '90s, late '80s was kind of the big, huge boom for. I mean, that was Smith, Tobias. I mean, that was like the heyday. Carl Thompson, even though a little bit before, obviously, but that was the boom of like the boutique bass, where actually mortals could get those basses, not just the big heavy guy. You know, everybody could get them then, or started to. So that must have been just awesome to see that, especially coming through your shop, repairing, doing stuff, knowing those builders, and then obviously being one of those builders at that time. That must have been incredible to see that growth.
And I think that opened a lot of doors as well. Just at that time, there were a lot of boutique builders were coming up, and it was also a big boom time in the Seattle music scene. I mean, we had grunge. So I was hired when grunge was going on. We were doing work for Nirvana and just all the Seattle music grunge scene were just these young guys who had been coming in here anyway, and they just took off like crazy. That's when Mike was so busy he needed some help. I had gone to Roberto Ben School of Luthery, and then he hired me on because I was actually one of his customers. He'd done some refrets for me and fixed up my guitars, and it just worked out that he was so busy he needed some help. And at that time, the customers were getting famous. And so these instruments that Mike was kind of putting together just from parts houses, the parts houses were available, Warmoth and a number of these parts houses made it easy for a small shop to put something together and put a custom paint job, the custom pickups in that somebody wanted, and hand it across the table. And they were like, this is great, you should put your name on these. And really it was pretty grassroots, pretty simple like that. But Pearl Jam guys started using things, and all of a sudden you've got high-profile players using these parts guitars that we were putting together, and it really made sense to brand it and to try to turn it into something.
Yeah, and then over time, I mean, really dialing in what Mike wanted to do for each of his individual pieces, and everything down to fret levels and neck profiles and how he wanted bodies chambered or not chambered, and I mean how he wanted his lower bout to sit. Like every aspect of it got dialed in over time as the business grew and the demand grew, to build instruments and have that be not just like, oh, that's a plus on the repair side, but really become a boutique based company. And that just kind of grew and grew and grew, and he dialed it in over the years and figured out kind of his sweet spot of how he liked to do all of that, and it worked out. So we're really pleased with. I mean, obviously we got some stuff hanging up, but
love it. Yeah.
Wow. And each one is really made to order. So somebody calls in or emails in or hears about us and says, I really want XYZ. I want a PJ, but I want it in a jazz style body or whatever, and we make it. And also the general kind of run of the mill, I just want a P4, and I want a Lull P4, and we've honed that in, which we're really happy about.
Sure. Nice.
I mean, I gotta say, as a Michael artist, and I don't want to bogart part of this podcast because I'm only artist, a little story, like I went from working in the 2000s with another company that I won't name right now, and that went kind of belly up, and then they kind of resurfaced. And I was on the lookout for a company to work with. I was playing like that company's big modern 35-inch scales and their jazz basses or their J bass types. And I was on the hunt looking. And, you know, I had some companies approach me, and I haphazardly stopped by Lull's booth, the Mike Lull booth at NAMM, and I was like, what is this? What is this? Like, I had at my disposal everybody, like every big known company. And I said, right here, was offered a deal. And I actually, because these things are really personal to me, you know, it's like, okay, our paintbrushes, so to speak, as artists, I waited 2 years. And then I committed hardcore, and I had put in an order for 3 of them right away. Right away. And I never looked back. You know?
Oh, love it.
Never looked back. Yeah.
What were those basses, Tony? What style?
First, it was I wanted like a bigger 35-inch scale, but like a jazz bass, so they were M5Vs.
Yeah.
And then I went to like a 24 fret model that changed everything, and it was this one. It was this guy,
Nice.
an M5,
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
big singles.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never played anything more comfortable than Mike's 35-inch scale 24 frets.
Yeah.
And I have about 600 shows on these, on this,
Nice.
right? On this very bass right here.
Oh.
And even though it's had tape on it and all sorts of weird things, because that's what I had to do, for, you know.
Absolutely. It's
Like, you know, to the point where I got a signature model out of it, which is a little bit different. It's like this and then pulled back, like here.
Tony, was that one of the first orders? One of the first?
That was bass 3.
Oh,
bass
nice.
3.
Okay, nice.
So then I played with Mike. So I got a couple of other ones after that, and then we developed this one.
yeah.
Here we go.
Nice.
And this is my favorite.
You know what, Tony? I don't think I ever noticed it until you A-B'd those when you always talk about moving the neck pickup back a little bit, but you always show just the TP5. And I don't think about it, but as soon as you showed the first one and then that, it's suddenly just blatantly, oh, yeah, of course you did.
Yeah.
If you want a tighter, so like the other one, I call it like it's a modern jazz bass, for lack of a better term. And I don't want to, I'm not putting it down. It's like, oh, well, it's 35, it's 24 frets, so it's more than a jazz bass. But those pickups are expanded exactly where a jazz bass spot would be, but they're big singles. We played around with a couple of M5s, and then played around with like a JT5 24, where your dad, Spence, put it back, and we played around with, we pulled, I'll show you that one, that bass. That's this one. This is the first time he did this.
Yeah.
He pulled it back like this. So you notice where it's pulled back?
Yeah.
And I said, why don't we do that with the big single?
Mm.
And then at the time, Paul and Mike were like, well, we could do that, but why don't we make it your bass? I said, yeah, we'll make it my bass. He's like, no, we'll make it your bass. And I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm on board. Yeah, let's do this.
Nice.
You know? And this was like this started it all.
Ash Ebony, Tony, all those.
This is ash. My favorite wood combination is ash ebony. Like my own personal, like boom boom, and I just dial back my highs a little bit because that's a very bright combo, you know. And I play bright strings, GHS progressives, or now I might be playing around with super steels. I haven't yet, but you know.
I know it's hard, but we'll hold your hand, Tony.
I might need it.
We're all here for you. This is the support group. It's okay, Tony. You can be vulnerable here.
Yeah, so that's, you know, and it changed. It changed everything. You know, I don't know how many years I've been with the company now.
Nice.
7, 8, 7 or 8, maybe more. Was it more now? 9? I don't know. You know, but more than a few, that's for sure. So, yeah.
We're happy to have you as part of the family.
Absolutely, brother.
Awesome. And so Spencer and Tom, do you guys do guitars? I know we bass podcast, but you guys do guitars also, right?
Yeah, I'll grab
Nice.
one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this kind of, we're all on this, black theme,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but this is like
Oh,
a super
Oh,
scratch.
Holy crap!
So this is
oh,
a really nice one. It's a 5A flame.
yeah,
Trans black.
Yeah, and then the black or the back is just gloss
sure.
black. So this is one of my personal pieces.
I love it. And Spencer, you're mainly more of a guitar player, or you play bass and guitar?
I played both. I started mainly as a guitar player and then
Okay.
bass off and on, more
Sure.
on recently, as you can imagine, just with the sentimental
Yes.
value.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I have enough basses at home to really have to learn how to play, good bass, and not just play bass as a guitar player, but
Sure.
be a bass player, really.
Got it.
And so we make, there's like that one, and this is also another one of my pieces. This is like a charcoal gray,
Beautiful.
what we call a PX,
Yep. That's awesome.
and that's an ash body. Sorry, I'm cutting off your face, Tom.
Sorry.
With a rosewood fretboard, maple neck.
Gorgeous.
I
Gotta love
love
Telly.
that color. I love that color.
Oh, one of my favorite colors. And I mean, yeah, so we also do guitars, and obviously we're more recognized for the basses, but it's we make some pretty mean guitars too.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And Tom, your main instrument, bass or guitar, or what?
I started out on guitar, and there was a point in time, and it was probably after I started working for Mike, I felt like I needed to understand bass. So I built myself a bass,
Yeah.
and I ended up playing bass in a situation at church, actually, for like 3 years.
Mhm.
And so I was playing every week, twice a week, 3 times a week for like 3 years. Went through maybe 5 basses and 4 different bass rigs, kind of enough to understand bass tone, because as a guitar player coming up in the 80s especially, kind of heavy metal stuff, the bass player was the guy that just kind of hung out in the back, and you didn't really know what he was doing there, but you couldn't hear him over the guitars and the big stacks and all that stuff. So I had no idea, and the idea of bass tone, it's like, well, bass notes matter, they just do what the guitar player's doing, right? But I knew nothing until I started playing with a drummer, and then he's like, you are doing it wrong. So I need a drummer to tell bass player what to do. It was very educational.
There will be thousands of bass players grinning when they hear this, Tom.
But I went through PJs, I went through soap bars, I had 4-string jazz, just kind of went through a bunch of different rigs. Had 210 cab, had 215 cab. That was interesting. It was great for rock. It played with pick, played with fingers.
Yeah.
And so it really got to experience the world of it and appreciate it to where I could hear it.
Yeah.
So I still play both. I have an M5, with soap bars, and that's the bass that I keep around.
Yeah.
I always kind of will build myself something different. What's interested me lately is our short scale.
Ooh.
And I don't know if you
Guys, that's the trend.
Short
That's the trend
scale.
right now.
Yeah.
But especially as a guitar player, who I don't play all the time anymore. So when I sit down and I just want a bass line to mess around with,
Mhm.
a 30-inch short scale, I don't have to learn how to play all over again. My hands can feel with it. So it's really cool. I
And those have been-
might need one soon.
Yeah, those have been popular too. I mean, we just finished up one we posted on our Instagram. It's surf green. It's
Ooh.
called our P430.
Okay.
And people can choose to have, a PJ configuration, but it's just the P style right now. And there's some talks of maybe doing something else with, maybe doing a Mustang bass style, and calling it the Mike Sting, something like that.
I like
Mike
that.
didn't like
Spoiler
that name at
alert.
all.
Uh,
Mike doesn't get to say anymore, so we might just run with that name.
Look at what John's got.
Yep,
Oh, great.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Hey, who's that guy there?
that's it. There's that dude, you know?
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, are those are available now on the site, the short scale? Whatever. Okay, good. Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
They're great. I mean, one of the difficulties with doing those is, as you guys probably know, is the neck dive situation on short scale bases, and also kind of the traditional kind of flubbiness of playing short scales.
Mhm.
And you know, one of the things that Mike just decided to do is string through the body, and then also kind of design the horn at the top is a little bit longer, so that you get a really balanced feel in terms of playability, and when it's sitting on the lap or hanging on, you know, strap, so that it's not doing this the whole time. And
I mean, somebody put some thought into the whole thing instead of just going like this.
Squish. Yeah.
yeah, thank God, you know,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of thought involved in that, and we love them. Every time we have them come out, we love them. Oh, these are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So,
Well, from the picture, it looks great. It
Looks great.
It doesn't look weird, like you did anything to, you know what I mean? Like it's still aesthetically pleasing and obviously functional, which is
I
not,
played the first generation one, actually.
yes.
Yeah, at NAMM, when they first released it,
And it's
and
survived.
I can play light, John. I adjusted, and yeah, it was, you know, I loved it actually. So,
Yeah, we like them. So they're popular, and
cool.
you know, they're kind of the thing right now, but
Yeah.
not that we necessarily just follow the thing, but it's also just great functional bass.
Sure.
Fundamental
great
tone.
functional, and you're supplying something that the market wants. You're
Yeah.
supplying an instrument that people are looking for right now.
Exactly.
We have a customer who is actually the guy that gave us that first dollar. So one of Mike's oldest friends and oldest customers, and he's a professional bass player, studio musician, and producer. And he's been doing it so long that his hands are starting to show signs of age, and he has had to shift to a short scale. But when he did, he's been able to record with that bass, gig with that bass, and he was the one who gave us the feedback. It's like, these work. They actually work. They work in the studio. They work live. They work for a bass player who cares about what he sounds like.
I love it.
And he's able to play it, and his hands aren't screaming at him. So
Yeah.
just seeing that need is
He calls it his secret. Yeah, he calls it his secret weapon in the studio, because also has a great fundamental tone, so you don't have all
Yeah.
the, you know, overtones just kind of going crazy and whatnot. So it's he loves them. So it's good. It's always good to hear that positive feedback.
And out of curiosity, what strings are you guys using for that, or what who's making those for you guys?
So
their standard gauges
Yeah.
are probably 45 to 105 on that
Yeah.
one for a 4-string. Now.
Cool. And any brand, particular brand, or
mainly Diodario.
Diodario? Okay, cool.
However, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's mainly what we use over here.
cool.
We like the Didarios. They're very consistent. They're consistent in their tonality. They're consistent in their intonation. That's being a repair shop. We love to recommend to people something that when you change strings, intonates the same on the next set as the last set. So the set that we set it up for. And they have a good bulk program, and so we're able to just get a good consistent string. I know it's not everybody's string necessarily, but they're extremely functional.
Yeah, they work.
We like.
Yeah, and then going through the body, can you use standard scale, or do you still have to use a shorter scale?
I believe that one goes with a medium scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But I bet that makes a difference going through the body, which is nice, you know, so.
It definitely takes away the flubbiness.
Sure.
On, you know, it balances them out, and makes it feel like, not like, oh, this is a short scale bass.
Nice.
I guess, you know, there's no compromise on the feel string to string.
Cool.
So,
Guys, I have to dork out for a second. What's that bass in the back wall? Is that Brian's Fusion model?
that is
Which one? The
You're
T-Bird?
geeking out.
show
I was
that?
going to talk about the super redhead right behind Spencer.
That's what I was going to ask also. What that?
We can get into that too. I gotta see
Oh,
Brian's
look at that.
face.
That's Brian's.
It is.
Come on.
It is. If you can see it here,
Yep.
it's one of his signature models.
Very
So this is not his specifically, unless he calls and says, "I've got to have it." But this is his design with the pickups and electronics that he's decided that he likes for this particular model. The BBM
BBMF5.
F5, yes.
Okay.
The
Modern.
EMGs,
Yeah.
it's slightly tighter string spacing.
Yep. Yeah, instead of our traditional like 12-inch radius, it's a 16-inch and slightly, I believe it's a 1 7/5" nut, and ebony board, maple neck. That's a flame top, alder body,
Yeah.
and the M. That's the M style body, so longer, kind of horn, more modern take.
He tells me he loves it. He loves it. Yeah.
It's a cool bass. And with the EMGs, being a guitar player primarily, I come from a world where EMGs fit into a real certain niche.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like you're playing Metallica riffs. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the only place that that people tend to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
A lot of the heavy guys are into the EMG sound. Yeah.
Yeah, that super articulate that cuts through a really, really heavy overdrive.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't sure how it was going to sound on the bass, but on the bass, it's far more versatile, I thought. And I think it just sounds fantastic. And the mid-range knob on the EMG preamp is just got a huge sweep. You can really dial in a lot of different tones on that thing. And it's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, you can sweeten it up and also just overdrive crap.
Oh yeah, we just
So-
super spank. Yeah, for sure.
That-
18 volt system.
It is, yes.
That's
That
yeah.
16-inch radius. I mean, that's flat.
Yeah.
And that's not compound. That's all the way through, right?
Oh, yeah.
Woo! I like that. That's interesting. That's cool. Man.
We like it, man. We like it. So.
And so the 16-inch radius, that's only on his model, or do you guys do that just if somebody
So that's on his model. I mean, really, the standard
12?
sweet spot for us is 12-inch.
12, yeah.
And we found, we tried doing the compound radius thing and, 10-inch. And we just, 12 just worked.
It just
for
works.
what we
Yeah.
made. It was simple. And so whenever anyone's making an order, sometimes people will request a different radius. But really, we almost always just recommend going with a 12-inch, for guitar and for bass. It's just
Right,
it works
true.
really well.
Just works.
Yeah.
I like that Thunderbird back there too. That thing's badass.
That one is this is
Don't tell the big companies.
yeah. This
Oh,
is actually, so here's the disclaimer. Here's the actual truth of this one.
Yes.
This is like a new old stock because it was one of the ones that Mike was working on,
Yeah.
and all black.
Oh, I like that. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that is
We'll
just.
call it the T style bass.
Yeah, T style. Woo.
There you go. No, it's gorgeous, man. Wow.
So, and that's these are the Mike Lull pickups in here, and we actually
Who
we
makes
have
pickups?
just a passive, just a passive instrument. We've had people request to do active electronics in it or put a preamp in it, but don't really need it. I mean, these are really big sounding.
My only passive bass, truly passive, is my Lull T-Bird pickups in my JT524. So those pickups, they're in the T-Bird, but they're also, you can get it in what they call the GT, like this.
Yeah, we've traditionally called it like a JT5 or a JT4.
Yeah.
And usually the pickup's a little bit further up, but like you get the point. It's these.
Right, and that's the name that they settled on just because it was like, well, I guess we're putting T-Bird pickups in a jazz bass or in a P bass, so they called it PT4, PT5, or JT4, JT. Essentially, it's just either a P bass or jazz bass, but someone deciding to put T-Bird pickups in it. So we might change the name to just essentially having it being, this is a P bass or a P4. Do you want T-Bird pickups in it, kind of a thing? And just to kind of simplify that, we have a good range of instrument models, but yeah, I mean, we'll put them in the jazz bass, we'll put them in, in a P bass.
I mean, I like this stuff. You're gonna laugh, from rock to doing like a folk trio.
Yeah.
Kind of raw, rough mid-range
Yeah.
sat really nice with the 12 string, and I was like, I wasn't expecting that. I'm like, oh, I want to use a jazz bass and sit in really pretty. And then the producer's like, no, what about that red one? I'm like, all right, I'll play the red one. And I'm like, whoa, this is killer.
Are they single coils?
Dual coils.
Dual coils, yeah, okay, nice.
And just to talk about what Spencer talked about, like, you really don't need the active electronics. I got this setup, and these two knobs do nothing. I did this on purpose.
I love it.
To maybe drop a preamp in it.
Yeah.
So it's really volume, tone, and a three-way pickup selector, and there's two dummy knobs.
That's great.
I was like, well, just in case, let's do this whole thing like this. And I'm like, I never changed it. In fact, all my basses, I don't even know how many I have right now. All the active basses, I'll have to have a gain kind of pot in the preamp, and they all match this bass. All my basses have, this is the one that sets the volume level for everything. So.
Yeah, they're great pickups for that too. They just have such a full sound and a full
sound.
mid range is just, it just speaks really, really well. And I can see that working actually in a folk trio because it's just got such nice color to it.
Yeah, it was like really, really nice between the kick. It was like a vintage kit, so I was like, wow, I was like pleasantly surprised. So if I have like an open session where I don't know what's going on, and it's, which really not happening too much lately right now, COVID, but when they were happening and like I had a chance to bring an array of basses, this always comes.
Oh, nice.
I did this tribute where Chris Cornell, when he passed, this big live thing for him, and for that show, all those Soundgarden stuff I did, I used this bass.
There we go.
It's great rock tone.
And it sounded perfect. People are like, oh, get a PJ for it. I'm like, I use this one.
Nice.
That's great.
And then I see the Natural Jazz. That one has the behind you, Tom. Your left, I think. That one is like a 70s spaced kind of thing. That looks like 70s spacing.
Yeah, this is our traditional. So this is a V4.
Or maybe it's not 70s. Maybe it's 60s.
Vintage.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Nice.
This is like the full size, traditional jazz bass body. Almost. And just volume, tone. It's passive, and this is just a killer instrument.
Yeah.
And, if you can make a passive bass really, really well, and that's kind of like a good benchmark for a brand,
And that was Mike's passion. I mean, he had vintage 60s Fender basses. He went through so many of them. The guy would go on buying sprees, and and just buy a bunch of them and sell the ones that didn't sound good, keep the ones that sounded good, and sometimes sell those to pay for whatever you did on your skateboard, stuff like that. And,
That's true.
And just, so they came and went, but he knew jazz basses and key basses inside and out.
And Music Man's, like when we developed my signature, I said I kind of want a jazz meets a stingray. How do I make that happen? Because I wanted that punchy kind of aggressive thing in a stingray, but I still wanted a two pickup instrument, but I didn't want it to be humbucky. And he's like, well, he went and he goes, I have a bunch of stingrays. I've had a bunch of them. Let me get into this. And I must have had, I don't know, 4 or 5 conversations with them just about the stingray sound, about how to incorporate that in the big 35-inch scale bass. Like, we really developed a lot of that. So.
And I still have, at home, I have my dad's 64 E bass. That, Olympic white. I mean, it's definitely not white now, but it's far from it. And I play that thing pretty much every night recording
That's
it.
awesome.
So it's just an awesome piece. And it was like, that's what he settled on. I mean, like Tom said, he would buy them and go, what do I like about this? I don't like about this. Okay, next. And he'd sell it. And then just get, jazz, jazz basses, key basses, everything.
Yeah.
And that was like the one he went, I can never sell this one.
That's the one.
So,
Yeah.
still have that. So that's a cool thing.
So where's the future? Like Guitar Works, where are you guys going? Where do you see yourself, in the future? Like is it just keep on getting orders, keep on doing what you're doing, or is there something that like, yeah, we're gonna add this, or maybe do something a little bit differently? Like,
yeah, I mean, so one of the things that we've gotten a lot of questions about has been, do you have a standard, line of instruments, right? And we have obviously different models on the site, and there's, we can pretty much do, well, I don't want to say anything, but we can do a lot, right?
Anything like custom.
Yeah.
We don't want to do just anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of work. Yeah. But we've got a lot of questions about that. If we have any sort of standardized, recommended models.
yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that we're going to be developing, it'll take a little chunk of time, but really going through and creating a line that, so it doesn't have to be every time somebody orders something, it's a full custom instrument that, because we get a lot of people who go, whatever you recommend.
Sure. Yeah.
They do a custom order and they go, well, what do you think for this? And our initial reaction is like, well, it is going to be your instrument. What do you want?
That would be me. I would go to you and just be like, let's just make it blue.
Yeah.
And be like, well, what else? Then be like, no, that's it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different blues out there.
And we'd come back going, now what color blue do you like?
Yeah. What did you mean?
Yeah.
So it's that thing where you let the experts do the expert thing. I mean,
Right.
seriously, like, I get it. I understand both sides, obviously, but at some point it's like, yeah, like you guys have built thousands, so it's like you guys know what's up. I can give you I don't know, kind of a sketch, but you guys are the experts. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And one of the things that, we'll always have, like we'll still always do custom orders. It won't even be that we're dialing back on anything in particular, but really adding to, okay, so these instruments are after the 30 years of building instruments, these are the recommended specs, pickups, scale lengths, for these models, and we'll be able to, essentially have more of them to hand and kind of a little bit less of a wait time
Cool.
instruments, which we've had a lot of questions about that. And we generally keep the showroom pretty stocked because of the COVID shutdown. We couldn't build anything during that time.
Yeah.
But we're ramping that up. And every time we put stuff in the showroom, it would just get, I'll take that. I want that. It was kind of one of those funny where we went, why don't we just, we've got a lot of questions about it. People ask, what do you recommend all the time?
Mm-hmm.
And for the individuals who obviously are like, these are the exact specs I want. I want a 5A flame top on an ash body. I want a 16-inch radius. I want that'll be a custom instrument.
Yeah.
But for the normal 85 to 90% of the time somebody's getting an instrument, they can try to find where they fit in the standard line and obviously talk with us about it. We'll give them our recommendations, test them out. We'll be able to have stock of them and everything. So
Great.
that's something that that's coming down the pipe. So
The big guitar stores, they sell standard models all day long.
Right.
You want to have that at the level of build that Mike set out to offer to customers, have that pro level build. So you don't want to just go into your neighborhood store and just buy what's on the wall and hope it's okay. You can come into here and buy one of our standard models that's tweaked, that's dialed, that's
been clacked. Yeah,
it's
Right.
ready.
That's the other big thing. Like you guys,
Always
are
going to be
plecked.
part
Everything's plecked.
everything's plecked.
Everything's shielded. You can take this bass to a gig right away. You can take it on the road. It's a pro level instrument,
Well,
and you don't have to order something custom.
Yeah.
I honestly think that the days of the shop, the GCs, I mean, that's kind of, I think it's kind of coming to I don't know. I don't think it's good their end. And I actually think that the online thing, especially having the track record and the reputation that you guys have, that Lull has, and you know some other builders and stuff have, that I think we're going to see this online thing grow, like be almost a norm as opposed to the shop, which again is kind of a like it or hate it, where you the big box stores, the GCs, but you kind of want to see the mom and pop places do well. But it's a tough one. But I think that now is a time, and as you said, right now, especially during COVID, man, I mean, retail sales are up. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's insane. So I think you're on the. I think it sounds like a good business plan, you know. And I think the business model is
like, you know, we'll figure out some sort of, you know, online portal on the site where people can do, like, you know, build your own and this kind of stuff, which takes time to do that. Obviously, that's no one takes money. It takes money. It takes time. It takes, you know, making a website is a thing. But it's something that people have asked about, and they're like, I would like to see what that finish would look like on this body, or what these pickups would look like here. And essentially just making it, streamlining it so that, you know, without any loss of quality or, you know, cheapening up anything whatsoever, people can still get pro level instruments, Mike Lull instruments, without necessarily having to have such a long wait time or anything like that. So, which, you know, it's funny, sometimes the longer wait time you have, it's like more cred. It's like, oh yeah, we have this waiting list, we're cool, you know. But as a player and as somebody who buys things, I'm, you know, kind of impatient sometimes.
I want it yesterday.
Twice in my life I've been impatient.
Yeah.
It reminds me kind of like what Alembic does with their Epic series. It's like you know, because Alembic's one of those you can tell them, you know, I want the top part of my instrument to be, you know, 3/16, and then I want another 2/16 of this and a 3/32. You know, you can take as many deep dives, but their Epic series is like what you're saying. It's like, okay, you want an Alembic. You don't need to spec out the whole thing. You know, you're going to them because of this. So it'd be like, you know, we're going to Mike Lull because, hey, I want a TP5. What do you recommend the best specs for this? And you can say, hey, this is what, you know, our recommended thing is. Cool. That's what I want.
Yeah, and also whenever you're speccing out a custom instrument, there's like 50 or 60 decisions that you're having to make generally. And if you're not completely proficient in every one of those areas, or you know what you want in every area, it can be a little nerve-wracking to be like, is this going to work out? Is it going to be what I like? And all those kind of nervous thoughts can enter into people's heads when they're doing a custom instrument, especially if they're not completely and totally dialed into what they want. Whereas if they can just come into the shop, or they can, you know, hear, you know, video, you know, YouTube video reviews or something about something, and hear it and go, oh yeah, I like that tone. You know, oh, I want that P-bass tone. That's what I want. And essentially call us or whatnot and say, I'd like that, and then be able to get it, like, without a long wait time, and still being made here by everyone here. All still, you know, all American parts, everything. That's something special that we, you know, it takes working out. It takes, you know, actually making that work, organizing it and whatnot. But it's something that we're all working towards, and we've had a lot of conversations about it at the shop.
Yeah, eventually I'll be going out to Seattle to do videos for all the different models.
Don't let them in. Actually, Tony, when you're out there, I expect like a coffee and bass podcast from you when you visit the various coffee places around the area.
I can easily do that.
Yes.
I can easily do that.
Vibe right there.
I gotta show you guys one thing.
Let's see.
This is getting a lot of attention lately. Spencer, stop me if you don't want to get into it right now, all right?
Let's do it.
You tell me, right? If we
Yeah,
want to.
you're good, man. You're good. You're good.
Oh! Nice. Wait.
The old PJ that I picked up, it is number 608.
Okay.
That's probably late 90s.
Yeah, it's been around for a little while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quinton approves.
I'm loving this
Ooh.
so much that it's my number 2.
That thing's awesome, man.
Wow, that's big.
After the TP5, this is it.
Oh,
This is it. And
look at that fretboard, man. That's a great.
so much that I love it that we're talking about doing something else.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's exciting.
We'll know where the pickups go on that one. We don't have to have you send us all the measurements.
No, the other one will be a little bit different. Spence, do you mind?
Yeah,
Is it time?
Yeah.
Can I get into it?
You can totally
I,
get
make sure, I didn't even talk to you about like, oh yeah, we're talking right now.
Yeah, it's gonna spring it on you.
It's all good. No, really. You
I
can't.
need to find out one way or another. What am I doing?
We'll just announce it right now because we've talked about this probably 7 weeks ago. I'm going to do a second signature instrument, and it's radically different in some regards from the TP5. It'll be a PJ 5 string,
Yeah.
Nice.
based a lot of specs off this 608, and all the body, maple neck, maple board, volume tone with a booster circuit, with an adjustable gain, nothing fancy, Nordstrand pickups in it,
Right.
and just a killer instrument. And it'll be the the TP5 PJ, and it's just going to be, and it will be one of the first skewed signature instruments because it's just going to come in 4 colors. So
Let's pick it up and let's see the pickups. Where the pickups are, Tony. Up a little higher. To the,
Ceiling and we
second. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
boom.
And so the P bass pickup is traditional P position, and the jazz is that 60s position, guys.
This is 60s position. This is traditional PJ, but with a 35-inch scale, so everything's kind of scooched to accommodate the 35 versus 34.
For sure.
And that's all we're doing. We're going to be like
I love
pure
it.
Mike Lull quality and a 35-inch scale 5-string, alder maple with Nordstrand pickups in particular.
Nice.
Volume tone with a booster circuit.
With a
Nice.
preamp or no preamp?
No preamp, just an adjustable gain booster circuit. So it's going to feel like a passive instrument. It'll feel like a real, like truly passive, but it'll have me personally, I have to have a little bit more gain. So you could shut it off if we have an adjustable gain circuit, whoop, or just turn it up a little bit just to get a little bit more levels, because I need to hit my compressor at the same line with all the close input levels. So
Right.
and again, this is my number 2. This was on a whim. I did not get this from Mike Lull. I did not get this from these guys. I'm not just an artist like, I work with them, so I get instruments from them, and that's how it works. I bought this.
That was a reverb find, wasn't it?
I remember.
Talk bass.
Talk bass, that's right. I remember the conversation around it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. We're like, yeah, do it.
This was a whim. This was going for
steal from what I remember too.
Very low. I don't even want to mention the price on here. It was very low. And I just said to the guy, this is ridiculous. I can't believe you're doing this. And all these people jumped on, and I saw it. I'm like, look, if those first 2 guys that jumped on don't get it, just ping me.
Yeah.
Here's right. And of course, there's my phone. Bling. I'm like, he's like, one guy flaked out, and the other guy, if I don't have the money by noon, it's yours. I'm like, really? Like 12:02. I'm like, here you go. Here's your PayPal.
Nice.
I'll take it. I got it. It needed love. I totally cleaned it up. I threw progressives on it. I tweaked it out, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This thing's killer. And you know what's funny? This actually has the vintage fret wire on it, the real small fret wire that I like.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and it's just, I mean, it's badass. It really is. And I don't even like, tort like a sunburst thing. I'm not into. It's not my thing. I'm more like a solid color thing. But I don't even care.
This
'Cause
is
it's
this
killer.
literally when he was pinging us with this, we're like, Tony's going vintage? What the fuck, man? This is
Because I
so
play such modern shit,
you're
right?
like
It's
Mr.
like,
Fucking Modern, man, and you literally and we're just
Steve,
like,
this is the influence that we have exerted upon.
yes, I love it.
I had to do a weird mod. Like, you guys are gonna laugh. Like, look at this ugly plate I put on there, right?
Oh,
Dude, hold on.
So
like Tort.
I mean, at least it matches the front. So
it's got an EMG buffer circuit in it just to have a few more dB coming out. That's it.
Look, I have the same.
No,
Oh my gosh.
ugly
it's,
plastic.
it's a different style bass, guys, but it's this idea. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. Matching.
So we're gonna do a model. Spencer had an idea for the colors. Spencer, what are you thinking for colors again?
So we were thinking doing some cool matte finishes.
oh,
Matte black.
Matte black, matte red,
Nice.
like I think it was we were talking cardinal red or something like that.
Mm.
Cardinal
Oh,
red.
like
You
that.
like the blue too?
Yeah, that Lake Placid blue, like in matte.
In a matte finish, it'll look nice, man.
yeah.
It looks so good.
The like a rubyish red looks good in a matte also. Just like kind of cool looking, Yeah.
And a white.
And a white.
White, exactly. So in a matte white, which if you can do those well, they look really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And Tony, are you doing your signature as alder maple, like your
Alder
base
maple.
there? Oh,
Exactly
nice.
what this is.
I like it.
It's a little bit different, like with the, ash and ebony. I mean, I don't want to just make another clone of what I've already have. I
Right.
wanted to do something different that works. So, I played this with, I got this around the COVID, so it's been limited, but I've used this with Dig, and I used this for a rock session
Nice.
where I just backed off the J pickup a little bit, and that's when I was really sold.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
Oh, yeah. That thing probably punched people in the face.
it did.
But
It
had
did.
nice warmth too. That alder, I mean, best of both worlds almost. That's,
I cut the tone knob about a third back.
Mhm.
I cut the J pickup about a quarter back, and had brand new GHS progressors on it.
I just
Right through a Ready and into my board out of a Rupert Neve DI, like the two DIs, and
Oh yeah. There we go.
it slayed. It was
It's
the
not the
best.
Tony Paleo we know.
I know what happened to what happened. Reptilian Tony playing. Sorry.
Guys love to
Or
give
it's a South
crap.
Park evil Tony, so he's got a goatee.
Yeah. No, man, I absolutely love that bass. So 35, and then the B string, is that through the body? That's kind of,
A lot of Mike's basses, these guys will tell you, are through the body, but this
Yeah.
one's not.
oh, okay. Cool.
This one's
Okay.
not. But it's just as,
Yeah,
I mean, for what I'm using it for, yeah.
I love it. Well, I love that you guys are going to do that matte frost finish because I am a huge fan. I
Yeah, for sure.
love that finish. So, and two-tone sunburst looks good in that too. I mean, anything. It just looks good. It's really cool. And
Yeah.
When I saw that gray color, I'm like, oh, Jesus. I like that.
graphite,
Too.
like a graphite
But
matte.
I will have a conversation with Spencer about that at a later date,
Good stuff. I'm ready.
So the new TP PJ5.
Yeah. TP PJ5.
Ah. Announced here.
Announced.
Announced
Yeah.
here, right here, right now.
Very formally announced.
It's
Yeah.
totally, yeah.
Graphics up, everything. Yeah.
I will fly some shit in. This stuff will go in.
There you go.
Spencer, how about the J bass behind you with the big
The
like
Dark Stars?
the
Oh,
Dark
yeah.
Stars?
So
Ooh.
this is another personal piece.
Oh,
So this is misty green.
Ooh.
that's beautiful. Wow. I love that.
Which would also look good in that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And this is again just a passive.
I love it.
volume. This is a volume blend tone.
Okay.
But just 2 dark stars. You know, these are Curtis Novak by some.
Yeah. Those are badass pickups, man.
So nice.
They are well past.
My gosh. And we got the, if you're into the fruity abalone,
Look
just
at that.
I honestly think every studio bass player should have something like that in their stable.
Oh yeah, for sure. And this is ebony and maple neck.
Yeah.
You can't see because it's just
Sure.
all misty.
I love
green.
it. Woo.
But yeah, with white, white binding.
Mhm.
And
What's
this is a piece that we made one for a customer, and when my dad saw the finished piece, he just went, "This is so unbelievably beautiful and rad that I'm just gonna make an exact duplicate."
I love it.
So he made it, put it up in the showroom, and then now it's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far it went.
That's how that's kind of how it went. And
We might have to make another one for actual customers.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Well, they can buy off of that piece. That's kind of the piece that people will buy off of, which is
Yeah, I mean, I usually just put it up here for reference. So I don't care if people dig it or whatever. Like,
No.
I'm selling it, so
Mhm.
it's people can play it and have say, like, "Oh, I do like those dark stars," or
Yeah.
just as points of reference for people who want to do custom builds.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to have that.
Oh yeah. So we have a couple of those. I got a couple of those at home. So
I like it.
yeah.
Is there a message, guys, Tom, Spencer, is there anything you want to tell the bass playing crowd or the music crowd in general? Like, is there anything you want to say about the business right now? Like, before we get into our socials and close up everything, is there a message you want to portray?
Yeah, I mean, what I'll say is this: like, one of the most common questions that I got since Mike passed is, are you guys still going to be building things? And it's a very secular question, because people see Mike Lull Instruments. What is kind of lost sometimes is like Tom's been here, like you said, since 1992, and we have 50. I think we counted up like 50 plus years of experience of
just between the 4 Luth years.
Yeah, just in the back. And Mike, if anyone knows him, Tony can definitely attest this. Knows him personally. He was never the kind of guy that would hold on to some knowledge or for the sake of like, this is proprietary. I don't want to tell anybody how I do it. He never operated that way. He was very free flowing about, oh yeah, I decided to put the B string through the body only because it balances the strings, and just tell people that, and and so the main thing I'd like to say, just getting to my point, is we are absolutely still building instruments. We'll be building more instruments, and really there's nothing to fear. We're still going, and we're coming out with new stuff, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So you can always just, if you have any questions, you can always email me. You can call in. We can do one at a time.
What email do you want to share? Which email? info@MikeLowe?
Yeah, you can email. Well, you can email service@MikeLowe.com.
Okay.
I check that email. If you don't get a response in 20 minutes immediately, just remember that there's like a lot of emails that come in there. So on top of answering calls, helping people in the front and all that, I do get to my emails though. So,
And what's the web page?
MikeLull.com.
Okay, cool.
Let's just you can go there, check us out. Instagram is Michael Custom Guitars. Facebook, Michael's Custom Guitars Guitarworks. And you can check us out on all those, all social. Send us, email. You can call us. We're pretty open here. Like you'll call and be able to really, talk. It won't be like there's no automated system.
It's again, and I'm sure all of us, condolences. And I met your dad a couple of times and was just so nice and kind, and I just love the honor, the way that you guys are going on, and it's incredible. And I know that there was a big hole in the community because your dad was just such a again, just being such a sweetheart of a guy and nice, and just with his knowledge base and just being open about it. Like, this is what I do, and just taking care of people. And again, I think it's fantastic, and I just love that you guys are going on, and the way you're doing it is very honorable, and you're keeping it alive the way that he would have. So, sorry, I'm getting a little.
He was he was
Yeah.
he was my friend.
Yeah.
He was my friend.
That's honestly, that's, not to get so personal, but I'll share a really quick story. I mean, before my dad passed, we were talking about a lot of different things, and one of the things that he said verbatim, he was, we were having that discussion that nobody wants to have, but like, what if, kind of things. And he said, well, like, what'll happen to all my friends? Literally, that's, and I was like, you mean like your friends? Or like, he's like, yeah, like all my friends, all my customers, like, that's how he considered everybody. Whether you were just, somebody who's bringing in a brand new, just learning guitar or bass and, starter guitar, and like, I don't know how to play this. And we look at the action and it's like off the fretboard, basic setup stuff. Or it was, top level musician who tours the world. He was the same with his time with everybody. And that's still the same vibe that we have here. Like, whether we get questions sometimes with the guys like, I'm sorry, this is kind of a dumb question, but on like a P bass, should I get this? And a little shy about it,
Yeah.
And we're not here to be like pompous about who we are. Like, we just love making instruments and making good quality tools that people can use, and we'll always keep that same vibe to honor him. And I don't know, one little quick thing, not to get so emotional, but this is my dad's personal P4.
Oh man.
That he's had for 24 years.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Aztec gold, mint green pickguards, the Brazilian rosewood fretboard on it. So
Real number on that.
this one is
Wow.
711.
So it's newer than Tony.
It's newer than Tony's, man. You got an older bit than my dad's
I
personal.
have an old one, yeah.
And, but one of the things you can see, I don't know if you can see it here, but it's got some
I love it.
things and
Yeah.
some real relics. We didn't just throw this on the pavement and say it's relic. But one of the things that he would do in the shop is he would hang it up, and anybody who had any questions about, like, hey, I'm kind of going for this sound, he'd go, well, just try this out.
Sure.
And he was just his personal instrument. And I just, it was at home during the shutdown, because I was like, if that thing, there was some stuff happening in Seattle, and there was
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
happening. I was like, we took all the instruments home. So I was like, I can't have anything happen. It's priceless to me personally, right? But after we opened back up, I was like, I'm gonna keep. I want people to be able to play it, because that's what my dad wanted. He didn't care if it got dinged up. It would have like more character to it, So everybody who wants to play it, they'll be like, that's my personal. I go, take it off, dude. Just play it, man. Like, go ahead. So it's just a cool thing that it's kind of our little little piece of him that we have.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. I love that. And I'm sure to play it and hold it, probably like just get some energy from it, it's just rad. So
Every day, man. I literally play it every day. These guys can attest to it. I'll come in here to make sure all the pieces are, just still
sure.
in good working order.
Sure.
And every day I play that.
I love that. That's awesome, guys. Man.
Well, Tony, just you remember we met at Mike's booth at NAMM.
At Mike's booth. How I first met John was at Mike's booth.
Wow.
Oh,
So I knew John online, and me being as physical as I am, and
I was talking to Mike at the time, trying out a bass, and this gorilla attacks me from the back.
I've never met John in person, right? I've never met him in person, and I grabbed him from behind.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was like, hey, look at this guy. And I was like, who the hell is this?
oh, we love it. We love it.
That's
Good
great,
story.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, guys, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Really, it means a lot, guys. Yeah, this means a lot. Thank you for joining us.
On a personal level, it means a shit ton to me.
Yeah, hey, me too, man. Seriously, guys.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. At this point, we sign off, but we keep talking shit. We just say bye to the audience. So
Right. Start talking gnarly shit about both of
talk
us.
all kinds of shit. Exactly. So, man, Tom Spencer, thank you so much. MikeLull.com, Mike Lull Instruments, Lull Instruments. We love you guys, and we're sending lots of love up there. Be safe during all this bullshit craziness, but hang on, we're still going to talk shit. Big Bottom. We'll talk to you guys later, and let me stop the...